You know, sometimes all you could do is laugh. So many of y'all in the comment section, whenever we would talk about Diontae Johnson and the possibility that he ended up being cut, y'all would be like, oh man, watch him go to the Chiefs and start going crazy. Watch him get picked up by Buffalo and really start going off. Watch him go to a contender and really start being a wide receiver that makes a positive impact on that team. Well, guess what? That is a real possibility now. And the Baltimore Ravens, they knew this when they decided to release him. Y'all already knew this before the Baltimore Ravens decided to release him. But now, especially with this report and really reminder from Adam Schefter, this could really go down. We're about to get into it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and leave a like on the video. We ain't got that much time because I'm going to see y'all later for the live stream for the Steelers game. So I look forward to seeing everybody there. I appreciate y'all, and I love y'all, and thank y'all for supporting this channel. Thank you, because y'all make this everything that it is. So Adam Schefter, in his most recent report, he said former Ravens wide receiver Diontae Johnson, yes, former because he was released, is likely to be claimed on waivers Monday per sources. And you know what? That's crazy, because I was just talking to my guy about this yesterday, and he was asking me, like, where do you think Diontae Johnson is going to go? Who do you think is going to pick him up on the waiver wire? And I said, I think he's going to go unclaimed. And then somebody will end up signing him, but I think he's going to go unclaimed. But anyway, Adam Schefter said potential landing spots include, but are not limited to, the Chargers and the Chiefs, if Diontae Johnson even makes it that far on waivers. And I said, oh boy, that would certainly be something, right? But I mean, with the Chiefs are close to the bottom of the waiver wire, meaning they would have one of the last picks in the waiver wire, because it goes like in order of like draft status. It goes in order of the teams with the worst record, they have the highest picks in the waiver wire, and the teams with the best record, they have the lowest picks on the waiver wire. So the teams with the worst records, they can pick first. The teams with the best records, they can pick last. So obviously Chiefs will be way at the bottom of the list. But when you really think about it, it is a real possibility that could happen, especially with the Chiefs, because it just seems like stuff just always works out for the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it's them winning all of their games on some crazy stuff, or it's just players just somehow becoming available, and the Chiefs being like, you know what, let's get it. And that is one thing that the Chiefs will always do. They will take a chance on somebody. If it's a player that, especially a player that's been solid, or a player even been good, or a player that has been good before and they may not be what they once were, the Chiefs are like, you know what, no. Bring them on, and let's see what we can do with that said player. They've done it so many times. And I would not be surprised at all if they did it again with Diontae Johnson. I mean, they're getting Hollywood back. What a coincidence, right? They got that left tackle. I mean, I know he got a hamstring injury right now, so he ain't been playing. But they'll get him back any second. And it just, stuff like this just happens with the Kansas City Chiefs. But for him to make it all the way down to the Chiefs, he would have to pass through a lot of teams. A lot of teams would have to say, no thanks to Diontae Johnson. But with how this whole thing has been painted with Diontae Johnson, and I mean, he had a bad rep even before this whole thing happened with the Baltimore Ravens, so everything that happened with the Ravens is certainly not a good look for Diontae Johnson. So that could make a lot of teams pass on him and be like, nah, Diontae Johnson, we straight. Nah, we don't want him on our team. No thanks. So that could make it likely that he passed through a lot of teams on the waiver wire and just gets down. But then they're the contenders. And they're the contenders that are always looking to get even better. So, yeah, we talked about the Chiefs, but then about Adam Schefter also mentioned the Chargers. And the Chargers, you know, they got Lad McConkey. And Lad been going crazy. He been going crazy for the Chargers, but they could use some more help at the receiver position. They got Quentin Johnson, too, and he's solid, but he's very up and down. Like, I was watching that Chargers and Broncos game the other night and watching him make catch after catch after catch. I said, okay. I said, he ain't been dropping nothing. I'm so used to seeing him dropping. Oh, he been doing a thing. And then right after that, he dropped it. He dropped the pass. I said, oh, there it goes. Ooh, that was a big knock on him. But thank goodness they took him instead of taking Zay Flowers, because Zay Flowers been doing this thing. And Zay Flowers be dropping too now. But Zay Flowers, he dropped a lot less than Quentin Johnson. At least that's what it seems to me. But anyway, with the potential of him going to the Chargers or the Chiefs, this was always a reality that it could go down, because but I do respect the Ravens for not holding on to him, especially if they weren't going to use him, if he ain't want to be used. The Ravens always say it. They like, look, if you don't want to be here, we ain't going to hold you up. You can go. Hollywood Brown, he wanted to go. Ravens said, okay, bye, we'll trade you. Hayden Hurst, he wanted to go. Ravens said, okay, bye, we'll trade you. Orlando Brown said, hey, I'm a left tackle. Pay me my money. Ravens like, okay, we'll trade you. But bottom line, Ravens are a team where it's like, hey, if you don't want to be here, that's okay. No ill will. Even though with Diontae Johnson, this situation was a lot different. So I think there is ill will there. But he could really end up in Kansas City. He could really end up with the LA Chargers. Or there could be some surprise teams that come out of nowhere, because when you think about it, it is extremely low risk. What is 3 weeks? No, by the time he gets picked up, there will only be 2 weeks left in the season. So even more reason why a team that's not a contender could just pass on Diontae. They could be like, no, we don't need him. It ain't no point. So that could make the likelihood of him dropping down the waiver wire even higher. So he could end up going to a contender. So he could end up going to somebody who the Baltimore Ravens are going to face, are going to go up against. Somebody could take a fly on him, especially because with the Baltimore Ravens, when they acquired him a couple of weeks before November 5th, he was only owed like, I think, $600,000 in salary. So now all those weeks have passed, and it's only 2 weeks left in the season. Well, once that time happens, once he gets claimed, it'll only be 2 weeks left in the season. So basically, you're going to be getting, if you claim him, you'll get him for free, pretty much. You're not going to have to pay him nothing, like nothing. So it would make sense for a team, especially a contender, if they just want a little bit of a more boost with Diontae Johnson. They just feel like, you know what, let's take a shot. Let's take a shot. It could really go down. Will it be the Chargers? Will it be the Chiefs? If it happens, oh, well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, Raven, we ain't scared of nobody. We are taking what's ours, and that's the Lombardi, baby. Again, every 12 years, it just makes too much sense. And it's in New Orleans, too. That's the Ravens. Ravens win their Super Bowls in the South, baby. But anyway, another conversation to be had for another time. Well, on February 9th, we're going to have that conversation. But Ravens really do have a possibility of going up against Diontae Johnson in the very near future. Now we reach my favorite part of these videos, where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon, or if you would like to send your question directly to our P.O. Box, the address is down below in the description. First off, before we get into it, we got to give a special shout out to the newest Team Keep It Clean patron, Mr. Levick. So shout out to you. I appreciate you becoming a Team Keep It Clean patron, my friend. He ain't sending no question to get us started, but that's okay. We got a question from our guy, Keontae, who's also Team Keep It Clean patron. He said, I really wasn't big on wide receiver acquisition at the deadline, so Johnson being released isn't big to me. I'm happy that it gives us opportunity for the homegrown guys like Tylan Wallace and Tez Walker. I think Wallace needs a minimum extension. At returner, he isn't exciting, but he looks good at wide receiver, and in my opinion, is a pretty strong catcher, and we know he has some wiggle to make something big happen. Yeah, I think, well, again, it's tricky, because I was getting ready to say he might have the best hands on the team, but with Tylan Wallace, he doesn't get many targets thrown his way. He catches everything that gets thrown his way, because we could compare him to somebody like Nelson Aguilar. He doesn't catch everything thrown his way. He'd be having some drops, but he doesn't get much targets. So it's a smaller sample size than obviously a Rashad Bateman or Zay Flowers. They got a lot more targets than a Nelson Aguilar or Tylan Wallace. But comparing Nelson to Tylan catches everything. But now, potentially in this game today, we could see him with a lot more targets, potentially, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and hopefully them hands, they remain as is. But anyway, continuing, he said, I would go on a rambling about shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it's too late in the season for that. This Sunday will tell us all we need to know about our chances at a Super Bowl. Steelers are a good team and a good defense, and we played them once already and get a chance to right the ship. If we don't win, you can say bye to a deep playoff run, because what do we know about the playoffs? The teams that are in it are good, have good defenses, and we have seen the majority of them once before this season. Yeah, we don't seen all of them. And if we haven't seen them yet, we will see them, because the Texans in a couple of days. Wow, in 4 days. Wow, that's crazy. You play the Texans 4 days after you playing the Steelers? Oh my goodness, that's brutal right there. Anyway, he said, I have high hopes, but middle of the road expectations. I hope this is the year I get to buy my Lamar jersey, because that would mean he fulfilled his promise of a Super Bowl. You better start saving money right now then. Next question came from another Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Bids. He said, what's up, bro? How's the fam? We are doing really, really good. He said, I think OBJ gets a bad rep. Bro sat out for 2 years and had about 500 yards receiving for the Ravens, with being the vet on the team, and handled it perfectly. Plus, he will tell Lamar run if we need him to. I will love OBJ over Diontae. Well, I mean, if the Ravens got Odell Beckham Jr., he would actually play. He wouldn't mind getting in the game. Like, if his number was called, he'd be like, okay, yeah, no problem, I'll get in the game. But Diontae Johnson is a different story. But yeah, I wouldn't say sat out for 2 years. I mean, he was hurt, and he was still hurt. Like Odell Beckham Jr., he hasn't been healthy for a long time. And that's been something that has been holding him back. And I mean, really throughout his career, he's faced a lot of injuries throughout his career. But obviously, he's a little older now, so them injuries, they hit a little different and they impact a little different. But I just still really wouldn't be surprised if they did make that move, even still at this point of the season after this game, it'll be 2 games left. So I would not be shocked if they got Odell Beckham Jr. This question came from my guy Ryan. He said, I just watched the Diontae Johnson video. I'm pretty sure I'm the question you're referring to with the wrong email. You know, I don't think it was you. I'm pretty sure that it wasn't, but either way, all good. He said, this is my question. What's going on, Ingraven? I hope the fam is well and everything's going well for you guys. I always love watching your videos. You have great insight on the team, and I'm always learning something new when watching the vids. I appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you, man. He said, my question is about Brandon Stephens. When are we going to come to the realization that Brandon Stephens is a liability out there? I would like to see the young guys get more reps. I feel like he's always getting picked on and always looks lost out there. He is also a penalty machine. What are your thoughts? Sorry for the long question. Again, hope everything is good and have a great year. I appreciate you, Ryan. With Brandon Stephens, I feel like Ravens just all season long, they've been waiting on, all right, this is going to be the game. All right, this is going to be the game. All right, this is going to be the game. And there have been some moments that Brandon Stephens had some really, really good moments. He also had some really, really bad moments. But overall, I will say this season has been a struggle for Brandon Stephens overall. But I feel like the Ravens, they just really know the potential is, and they just had it last year. Like, how do you go from being a corner who you got moved around different positions? First, you were a running back. Then you play safety. Then you play corner. Then it's back and forth with all this different stuff. So it's like, oh, man, that's confusing in itself. But then last year, like, you were amazing. Brandon Stephens last season was the best cornerback on the Baltimore Ravens. He really was. But it seems like that's so far ago because this year has just been rough for Brandon Stephens overall. But with Brandon Stephens, I think the Ravens, they see and they like, man, he's just so close. He's so close. He is so close because he's always right there. He's always right there, man. So it's just making a play on the ball. And obviously, easier said than done. And I'm sure it's something that they worked on with him in practice and whatnot over and over and over. Like, just make a play on the ball. But at the same time, if with Brandon Stephens, because I know a lot of Ravens fans want him to get benched. They want other people to come in and play like with Tre'Davious White. And when he's been in, he's looked pretty good. But maybe the Ravens see it like, minus Tre'Davious White, like, all right, if we bench Brandon Stephens, then who do we have on the team that's better than him or as good or whatnot? Maybe they see it like, you know what? Everybody behind Brandon Stephens on the depth chart is behind him for a reason. I don't know. Next question came from my guy Matt. He said, hey, Dan Ingraven, hope you're doing well. I'm not sure if it's because I'm a new football fan or I'm just missing something here. Will teams even want to sign Diontae Johnson seeing his diva history? He seems more trouble than he's worth. Steelers gave up on him, and they're known for diva wide receivers. Panthers gave him away for basically free. Heard he skipped practices there whenever he wanted to. Now he refused to go into the Eagles game with the Ravens. I can't see other teams would want this baggage. He's not even A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, or Justin Jefferson level wide receiver to justify dealing with his attitude. That's a really, really good question. But with teams, it's business. It's business with them. So if they see a player, and we've seen this so many times in the NFL with a lot of different players, even if this player got character issues, character flaws, they're known for having an attitude, known for not being a team player, all that good stuff. If that player has shown before that they can play some football and they can make some plays, yeah, he ain't none of the wide receivers that you listed, but those are the best of the best. Like, but if teams see they can possibly get something out of this player, and he's cheap too, that's like, it's a no-brainer for them. So it's all business, man. He said also, I think they should give Tez Walker more snaps. Well, I mean, depending on what happened with Rashad Bateman in a couple hours, we'll see. He said he's improving. He's not bad with his toe tap touchdown performance. Worth a shot now that Nelly is out and Bateman might probably be out too for the Steelers game. Not much options left. Every dollar counts. Next question came from my guy ConscienceXX. He said, what's up, Ing? I hope the family is well and healthy and the channel continues to grow. I appreciate that, my friend. He said, but I think we are not giving EDC enough credit. Oh, okay, let's see what my guy's talking about. He said a couple of years ago that he wanted to create an offense that couldn't be defended, meaning an overpowered offense. And I think we are witnessing it as we speak. All right, yeah, sometimes we do. A lot of times we do. Like Ravens offense, pick your poison offense. They got to be able to get it so many different ways, and they can, which is great. But let's see how they do against the Pittsburgh Steelers later today. Because in the last game, that offense wasn't undefendable. They weren't unstoppable. And some of the stuff was self-inflicted. But, hey, if you can't be stopped, then you shouldn't be stopped regardless. So let's see what they do today. But I get what you're saying overall, though. He said, you can't beat them with 2 high safeties or 1. So how do you, as a defensive coordinator, defend it? Well, the answer is pray, like we do when Tucker hits the field. He's this guy. He said, EDC has done his job in a major way for the Ravens. He is slowly but surely changing the culture in a good way for EDC. In a good way, EDC for MVP. Now, EDC has done his job in a major way. Yes and no. He's done a lot of great things. He's also done some very questionable things. Like, for example, 2 of the biggest things with EDC this year that were very big questionable decisions was you were 1 game away from the AFC Championship. 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year. And you decide, you know what? 1 game away, let's redo the whole offensive line. Or pretty much the whole 3 out of 5 starters. And it's like, oh, wow, that's scary. That's like scary business, right? And your quarterback was the MVP quarterback, and you still decide, oh, you know what, let's just redo pretty much the whole offensive line. And then another questionable decision, too, was going into this year with, again, 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year, number 1 defense last year, and going into this season with brand new defensive coordinator. Never done defensive coordinator before. And, hey, I'm all about giving people opportunities. I am for sure. But it was risky, very risky business. But anyway, continuing. He said, to the guy that said Lamar needs to take his checkdowns, I don't think he has been watching the games. For God's sake, Lamar's last touchdown pass against the Giants was a checkdown. Yeah, to Justice Hill. Yeah, Justice Hill, he caught that pass and then took it all the way. So, yeah, that's good. He said Lamar has improved at an incredible rate. Nothing in this world. Yeah. He certainly has. And yeah, like we mentioned in that video too, Lamar has been taking the checkdowns a lot more, especially over these past 2 years for sure. Don't overthink it. Next question came from my guy Tyreek. He said, what's good, Ingraven? I don't know if you will see this before or after the game, but Ravens, please don't play with us tomorrow. I'm tired of being tired because tired of people saying the Steelers own all Ravens. And I get it that they have beat us 8 out of the last 9 times, but that ends at 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. John Harbaugh, Todd Monk, and Zach, we need you. Lamar, do it. Jackson, please just play Lamar football. Offense needs to take care of the football and feed Big 22. Eliminate penalties and self-inflicted wounds. Defense, bring the fight to them and cause turnovers. Justin Tucker, we need you. Everybody saying you watch, please show these people that you still got it. Raven fans, we need you. Monitor your blood pressure because we all know this ain't no regular game. Let's go Ravens, and the North runs through us. And hopefully in a couple hours from now, we will have that opportunity to reclaim the North at the end of this season. This question came from my guy Trown. He said, what's good, Ingraven? Back to my old question. In my final game of my senior year, I went 9 for 9, 7 out of 7 extra points. So if the Ravens need me, call me. Hey, Ravens, look, I know y'all be listening to, y'all don't listen to me, but y'all listen to Team Keep It Clean. So, hey, we got a kicker ready and available. Anyway, he said, with Diontae gone and current injuries, what are your thoughts about bringing in Michael Thomas instead of OBJ? He's a big body wide receiver, and yes, he is. One of my guys, John, he corrected me on. I said, okay, I got you. But anyway, he said he's a big body wide receiver, and he has a ton of experience as well. Could be a nice depth guy who is low risk, even though I prefer OBJ because of the spirit and energy. Regardless, just like the Chiefs 3-peat, I'm out. I like that because, yeah, Chiefs, no 3-peat for you. Ravens, we getting ready to 12-peat. Anyway, Michael Thomas instead of OBJ, he's another player that he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. Now, if the Ravens were to bring him in, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind him and OBJ. I feel like it'd just be a toss-up because, again, they both deal with a lot of injuries. They both, when they were in their prime and they were healthy, them boys could play some football now. They were like Michael Thomas for the Saints, OBJ for everybody. But yeah, man, no, them boys can play, man. So I wouldn't mind for him though. It will be very tricky because again, it's 2 games left. Well, after this today, it'll be 2 games left. How much of an impact could he have on this team? Like, because again, it's a brand new playbook. I don't know if he ever been with Todd Monken before, but that's the advantage that OBJ has over somebody else that we will bring in. He already knows Todd Monken's playbook, and that's not to say Michael Thomas couldn't get it down. Because he is a professional football player. He's an NFL player, and he done been in different offenses and whatnot. So I'm sure he would understand. But at the same time, he ain't played all year. So would he even be in football shape? OBJ, he been on a team all year, but he ain't really been playing like that. But so I feel like OBJ will be a little closer to being in football shape than a Michael Thomas. And again, he would know the offense more than a Michael Thomas. So I feel like OBJ, as much as I wouldn't be, oh yeah, we got OBJ. I mean, again, nice for the locker room. But I wouldn't I feel like OBJ would have a slight advantage over Michael Thomas because of those things. Next question came from my guy Jonathan. Oh, I ain't heard from you in a minute, John. He said, Ingraven, I hope all is well with you and your family. It's been since 2022 that I sent in a question. Oh, yeah, see, I know I ain't heard from you in a minute, man, but welcome back, my friend. He said, Diontae Johnson being released and Hollywood Brown being off injury reserve, do you think that the Ravens were keeping an eye on the Chiefs roster moves in order to know what to do with Diontae? They could have been, but it could still, I don't want to say even backfire on him, but it could still work out in the Chiefs' favor if everything goes down. He also said, I know it can be a long shot, but I find it quite convenient to wait after the report of Hollywood being moved off of injury reserve. Thank you for the channel and all that you do. And just like the Steelers in the first round, I'm out. Oh, I love that. And we would love that too. And yeah, that is a very, very good point that I didn't think about. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Well, the Baltimore, and it's a business. Baltimore Ravens, they could have been waiting until after the Steelers, even though Steelers don't want no Diontae Johnson back. But Ravens might have been like, you know what, George Pickens is out. We ain't taking that risk. And with Hollywood, being announced that he's back. So yeah, because I think the Baltimore Ravens may feel like, man, Diontae Johnson, maybe he might actually clear waivers, and the Chiefs would have the opportunity to sign him. But if they activate in Hollywood back, that takes up a roster spot. They still got DeAndre Hopkins. They still got Travis Kelce, not a receiver, but Travis Kelce, all of them. But yeah, that could be a big possibility of it. Them just trying to do everything in their power, even though there's not much they can do, but them trying to do everything in their power to not have to see Diontae Johnson go to somebody that they're going to have to go up against. But with that, it's only so much you can do. Next question came from a guy, Ricky. He said, what do you think? Hey, Ingraven, it's been a while since I sent in a question since the Eagles game. Them Eagles fans was off the chain, by the way, like they just won the Super Bowl. Delusional is an understatement. Nah, I can't say all that now. I mean, if you were there, it's different, but they won. That was a big game. That was a big game. If we would have won, I would have been celebrating like crazy too. I would have been having a good time. Like whenever we win any game, but especially if it was against the Eagles, because they one of the top teams. Like Ravens were looked at as kind of one of the top teams in the AFC, so I'm sure Eagles fans are coming into that game like, oh yeah, if we get this win, especially against Lamar Jackson, the whole record versus the NFC, yeah, so they deserve to be hyped. That was a great game for them. But anyway, he said, hope all is well with the fam as we get ready for later this year. He said, as an event security guard at Ravens games, I've come across my fair share of intoxicated fans. Let me tell you, I get you. I get you 1,000,000%. He said, so in your opinion, not necessarily Ravens related, but if you had to rank each team's fan bases, which fan base ranked 1 through 10 drinks the most? Oh, my number one fan base would be any New York team based on what they've been through in sports history. But I might be wrong. Get the eggnog ready for this Ravens run to the Super Bowl, and like Diontae Johnson as a player for the Ravens, I'm out. Ooh, that's tough because y'all know I hate lists. I hate doing rank first through 10, 1 through 10, whatever. But I would say some of the fan base, I wouldn't even say New York fans like Giants and Jets. I wouldn't even say that because I feel like, and it's sad, but I feel like they just so used to it. Like even Browns fans too. I feel like they so used to it. I would say number one team whose fans probably drink the most, probably Chiefs. I'll say Chiefs fans because they be celebrating everything. And especially like even this year, like for how they've been winning, oh my goodness, that they got so many reasons to celebrate. So I'll say Chiefs fans. I can't say Patriots fans recently, but Patriots fans back because they used to be winning everything back then. But with Jets fans, maybe Jets fans, because with Jets it's like they get promised. They get a little bit of promise, and it's like, oh, like even what was it last year? No, the year before last. They had this really, really good defense, and on offense they had some players and whatnot. But it really seemed like they were like a quarterback away. It's like, oh man, it's right there. We so close. Oh, then they traded for Aaron Rodgers. Like, we got A-Rod in the building. Let's go, baby. Former 4-time MVP, former Super Bowl champion. So got so many. Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers like that. It was like, oh, they got Aaron Rodgers. Oh, they gonna compete now. Okay, let's see. And then his second drive of his Jets career, he's out for the season. And oh man, that's tough. And then this year, Aaron Rodgers, he healthy again. All right, we back. We got our guy back. He's good to go. All right, let's make it happen. And then he's been healthy, but it just ain't been looking too good for them overall. So I guess you're right about the Jets fans. Ravens fans. I put them up there too. Put us up there because with Ravens fans, it's like we have these teams. We got this quarterback. We got this head coach. Like it seemed like we got all the pieces to make it happen. And then it's like we see these powerhouse teams in the regular season, and we like, oh yeah, it's on now, baby. But then playoffs happen, and then it's like, hey, what? where did we go? What happened? What's going on here? And it could be for a million different reasons, but all those million different reasons, they end up happening, and then we end up losing. But I'm so glad that the drinking from Ravens fans this year will be celebratory.